Once upon a time, in a land where the sun bathed golden dunes in shimmering light, there lived a young boy named Zayd. He was neither a prince nor a warrior, but his heart held the fire of both. In his village, whispers of a terrible curse spread like desert winds each night. The moon would vanish, stolen by the Shadow King, who ruled from the abyss beneath the earth. Without the moon, crops withered, and the rivers ran dry. One evening, as the elders spoke in hushed tones, an old woman with eyes like the endless sky approached Zayd. "The Shadow King fears but one thing," she murmured, pulling a single golden feather from her robe. "The feather of the celestial phoenix. With this, you may break the curse, but beware. For the path to the abyss is guarded by trials unknown." Zayd took the feather, tucked it into his belt, and set off into the night. His journey led him through an ancient forest where the trees whispered secrets of the past. The first trial lay in the Valley of Echoes. As Zayd stepped forward, the air shimmered, and from the shadows, creatures of mist and memory rose, each one whispering his greatest fears. "You are but a child," they hissed. "You'll fail." But Zayd clenched the golden feather and whispered back, "Even the smallest flame can light the darkest night." At his words, the feather glowed, and the shadows dissolved like morning mist. Next, he reached the river of reflection, where the water did not flow, but stood still, mirroring his very soul. As he stepped forward, his own reflection stepped out, a twisted copy of himself with cruel eyes. "Only one of us may pass," it sneered. Zayd took a deep breath. "Then let it be the one with the pure heart." With that, he pressed the feather to his reflection's chest. A golden light burst forth, and the shadow vanished. At last, he arrived at the entrance of the abyss. A mighty serpent, scales black as night, coiled around the gates. "None may enter unless they answer this riddle," the serpent hissed. "What cannot be seen but is felt by all?" Zayd thought for a moment, then smiled. "Hope." The serpent bowed and slithered aside, allowing him to enter. Deep within the abyss, the Shadow King sat upon a throne of obsidian, the stolen moonlight trapped within a crystal orb beside him. His form was shifting darkness, his eyes twin voids of endless night. "So, a boy has come to challenge me," the Shadow King mused. "Do you truly believe a feather can break my curse?" Zayd stepped forward, his voice steady. "A single feather, perhaps not, but the hope it carries, yes." He lifted the golden feather, and the chamber blazed with celestial fire. The shadows howled, twisting and writhing as light flooded the abyss. The crystal orb shattered, and the moon soared back into the sky, casting silver light upon the land once more. The Shadow King let out a final, anguished cry before vanishing into the darkness from which he came. As Zayd emerged, dawn painted the sky in shades of rose and gold. The villagers cheered, their faces bright with newfound hope. The rivers flowed again, and the trees bore fruit once more. The old woman found Zayd and smiled. "You have done what no warrior or king could. You have restored the balance." Zayd placed the golden feather in her hands. "Hope belongs to everyone," he said. From that day forth, whenever the moon shone bright in the night sky, the people of the land remembered the boy who faced the shadows and won. In honor of Zayd's bravery, the villagers established the Festival of Light, celebrated on the night of the full moon. Every home was adorned with lanterns, and the village square became alive with music and laughter. The elders told the tale of Zayd, and children paraded through the streets, each carrying a golden feather crafted from the finest silk. As the festival flourished, travelers from distant lands came to hear the legend of the boy who had banished the Shadow King. Scholars inscribed his story in books, and bards sang songs of his courage. But Zayd, ever humble, continued to live a quiet life, helping farmers till the land and guiding lost travelers under the moonlit sky. One evening, as he sat by the river watching the reflection of the moon ripple across the water, the old woman reappeared. "Zayd," she said, "you have returned balance to the world, but darkness will always seek to rise again. You must be ready." She handed him a second golden feather. "Keep this close, for when the shadows stir once more, the world will call upon its guardian of light." Zayd took the feather, understanding that his journey was not yet over. The light he had restored was not eternal. His destiny was to stand against the darkness whenever it threatened. He nodded, knowing that as long as he carried hope in his heart, no shadow could ever truly consume the world. Many years passed, and Zayd grew wise and strong. Though he never sought glory, his name was spoken with reverence in lands far beyond his village. The story of his courage became more than a legend. It became a promise, a reminder that even in the deepest night, a single light could lead the way. And so, whenever the full moon shone upon the desert, parents would whisper to their children, "Look, the guardian of light watches over us," and far beyond the dunes, where the sky kissed the horizon, a lone traveler with a golden feather in his belt walked onward, always ready to answer the call of hope.